I'm just not even idea. We're back already with another video. Who am I right now? Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandy. I am a health coach, a graphic designer, and this channel is all about fitness, fun, food, and sprinkled with shenanigans on top. Just like that. So today's topic is going to be a little bit different, but it's something that I just have to talk about. I'm sure you've already read the title, so just in case anybody's confused, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but I do have my PhD in shenanigans. And so let me tell you, there's some shenanigans that I'm going to talk about today, and it's called toxic positivity. The people in the back, did you get that? Toxic positivity. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I've noticed over the past 2 years or so that this issue just keeps coming up. And basically toxic positivity, from what I understand it to be, is just this unrealistic, unhelpful way of always trying to frame things in a positive light. So kind of like this idea of no bad vibes allowed, or positive energy only, and stuff like that. I get the immediate picture of a cheerleader going crazy cheering for her team with her super preppy voice, but the team is losing by 60 points and the crowd is upset and discouraged and angry and frustrated, but this cheerleader is the only one over there freaking out, going crazy, trying to get everybody hyped, even though it's the fourth quarter, they're down by 60 points and the crowd is ready to go home. That's the immediate image that I get. Now, I was never a cheerleader in high school or anything like that, so no offense, but I always just found that annoying when it's clearly this is not the vibe right now, the crowd is not feeling it right now, and yet here you are with your little pom-poms trying to get everybody on board with cheering for a team that's clearly not going to win. So that's just the immediate picture that I get in my mind when I think about toxic positivity. And you've probably encountered somebody like this if you can think in your life about somebody who maybe you've approached them and all they want to hear about is all these gee golly feelings that you have, but anytime you might try to approach them when you're sad or upset, frustrated, or angry, they just get uncomfortable, or they try to talk you out of how you feel, or they make you feel oh, but you have so much that you should be grateful for. Why are you upset about this? That's annoying. Am I right? So I just have to talk about this because I know that this is not something that only I'm seeing and experiencing in my life. And I know that when people treat me like that, I start to feel are you trying to say that my feelings aren't important to you? Then why am I wasting my time with you? And so I'm not the kind of person to just go around blurting my feelings to everybody, but I do kind of try to test the waters, So somebody might say hey, how's it going? And that's kind of my test. Is do you really want to know how it's going? Or are you just saying that to kind of be nice, and then you're expecting me to say, oh, pretty good? Are you really trying to have a conversation, or are you just doing the fluffy small talk stuff that I really don't like dealing with too much? So if somebody comes up to me, for example, and says hey, how's it going? I might say, if I'm testing them, I might say, kind of a weird day, but whatever it is, what it is, we'll get through it, kind of a thing. And then they might say, oh, really? Well, what's wrong? And I might say, well, I was kind of disappointed because I was going for a PR in my deadlift today and I just couldn't get it, and I was pretty upset because I thought I was ready, I thought I was rested, and I tried to go for it and it just didn't happen. And that's a pretty standard thing for me to be upset about. I might be a little bit frustrated by that. It's a pretty common thing for me to not be able to get my deadlift. And so this person might say, oh, is that it? Oh, we have so many other things that you're good at. You have so many other things to be grateful for. Don't worry about it. And be well, I'm not crying my eyes out about it, but I really wanted that PR today and I didn't get it. And they might say, don't even worry about it. Okay, at that point, I know you're not hearing what I'm saying. You're not hearing how I'm feeling. And so I'm just gonna move along, because I gave you my little test, my little level 1 deadlift test, and you wanted to go ahead and sweep it under the rug and kind of, that's cute, not a big deal. You want to play that with me? All right then. And so then at that point I know I'm going to keep it shallow with this person going forward. I know that this is a small talk level person. I know I can't go deep with this person, because if I do and they don't feel like how I feel is valid or worthy of being as important as it is to me, then I know I'm just going to keep it shallow with you. And I'm probably not going to talk to you that much, to be honest. But if I meet someone and I explain the whole situation about wanting to PR my deadlift and then I couldn't do it, and they say, yeah, that does suck. I could see why that would bother you. Like, fitness is really important to you, and I could see why that would upset you. It's like, yeah, thanks. And then guess what? Guess what? I feel better about it, because you know what? You listened to me, you heard what I was saying, you remember our other conversations, so you already know that fitness is important to me. You remembered that and you brought that in. You listened, you heard what I said, you heard what I was frustrated about, and now you made me feel better. Like, you validated how I feel. It's really interesting around those holiday times where family and friends might make you feel like your feelings are invalid or not as important as they really are to you. And actually experiencing your full range of emotions is really important. If somebody only wants happy, excited, and jolly from you all the time, well then guess what? The person isn't accepting you as a full and whole person who has happy feelings and sad and frustrated and angry feelings. And in my opinion, when people like that come into my life, they go into a certain category. They go into a certain category, and like, I don't play around, y'all. I do not play around. I have goals. I have things I want to accomplish. I have a circle of people that I want to be able to trust, a circle of people that I know I can trust. And if somebody is disrupting that circle, then guess what? They're going to get put over here into the outer space. This outer space. I have the inner space and I have the outer space. If somebody is tripping and doesn't want to accept all of my happy, sad, angry, joyful, whatever feelings, then guess what? They can stay in the outer space and chill over there, because I don't have time for people to be involved in my inner space, in my inner circle, in my life, who don't accept all of me as a human person. And I have come to learn and see this because I do have a lot of empathy for people. Like, I might not always agree with whatever situation the person is in, and I don't expect everybody to agree with situations that I'm in, but the feelings that come up behind those situations, I can empathize with that. Like if somebody is in a situation where, you know, they're upset that they lost their job, but they lost their job because they cussed out their boss, well, yeah, in that case, it is their fault that they lost their job for how they behaved. But I can empathize with the fact that they're sad that they lost their job, that they're upset that now they have to go and like try to find another job. I can empathize with those feelings, and maybe even once I've connected with that person through empathy, maybe then I can help them say like, hey, what needs to happen in order to make sure at your next job this doesn't happen again? Like, how can we build you up and help you and get you to a better place? But that doesn't mean that if I'm sad or upset or angry about something, that doesn't mean I expect that person to agree with me every single time, even though I am usually right. Yeah, so when I'm having negative feelings, I don't expect everybody to agree with me every single time, but I do expect that person to respect how I feel and not layer this over gross, sugary icing over a heap of feelings that are really negative and stinky. And a lot of times too, I've seen these toxic positivity shenanigans really turn into like a deeper form of like manipulation and gaslighting, where it's like, oh, not only are you sad and upset, but now you've made me angry and now you've made me upset. And like, if you can't get your feelings together and you're all crying and upset and all over the place, now I am upset. Now that is just adding insult to injury. I'm gonna say, if you're somebody who's ever been around a family member or around a friend or somebody who makes it seem like it's your fault because of how you're feeling and the feelings that are coming up because of situations that you're in, I would say you're gonna have to cut that person out right quick. Don't let anybody make you feel like your feelings are invalid or you're overreacting over something that's seriously upsetting you. Now, it would be my responsibility if I'm having a negative emotion. It's my responsibility to still act like an adult. So if I'm angry with Starbucks for getting my order wrong, I can't set the place ablaze because they put 2% in instead of almond milk. Now, that is a horrible offense. However, we are still adults and we cannot go punching people's faces and burning things down because that's how you end up in prison. So instead of acting on these negative feelings, it's important to know how to regulate yourself. So like, if I'm upset that Starbucks put 2% in instead of almond milk and I almost drank it before I realized it, then I have to know, okay, all right, maybe it was a simple mistake. I'm really pissed off. However, I'm gonna let them know what's up. I'm gonna let them know that I'm upset about this $7 drink being wrong. And hopefully they'll correct it and we could just move on our way. So it is important to not make the situation worse and possibly put yourself emotionally in a worse place than where you started. And I really want to talk about this because I think it happens a lot in families with like the people that we're closest to, where like I remember one time a certain family member said, oh, well, you don't have to be upset about that. Like, there's no reason to cry about that. It's like, first of all, who are you? Second of all, you don't know what my experience was in that situation. Like, if I'm confiding in you about something that was really important to me or something that really upset me, don't sit there and tell me not to cry about it. Like, I learned right quick that this particular family member, I cannot trust them with that kind of stuff because they don't know how to handle those negative feelings. And maybe that's something that happened in their life where they don't know how to process their own stuff. That's fine, that's not my problem. I just know now this person is in the outer space because of how they responded to something that I was feeling negatively about and thought I could talk to them about. And then you also have, like I mentioned earlier, you have the little cheerleader Cindy Lou's who just want to throw rainbows and unicorns on everything and say, oh, don't be sad. Here, think about this, or think about that, or think of all your blessings, or think about how great things were last year, or think about everything that you accomplished before, or think about this, or think about that, and think about how great everything is instead of how bad everything is. Like, little Cindy Lou Who's of the world are just annoying, in my opinion. Like, that's great if great stuff has happened before. That's great if there's other blessings and things happening in my life. But right now, I'm in this space right now. I might be in this space for 5 minutes. I might be here for 10 minutes. I might be here for a day. I might be here for a month. However long I'm in this space, if you don't want to sit here and listen and empathize with me, then guess where you're going to get put, Cindy Lou Who? In the outer space. And I'm going to be chilling here until I'm ready to move on. And I do think it's important to really make sure, at least for me, that I'm processing all of my positive and negative feelings properly, because I feel like I have a tendency to just want to push through and get a lot of stuff done and stuff a lot of things down so that I can move on and do more, move forward. But it really does lead to burnout, and it actually really is unhealthy, because it's like that tea kettle analogy. If you have all these negative things that you're bottling up, the temperature's getting hot, pressure is rising, like it's eventually gonna just explode and be a disaster everywhere else. And so instead of letting it get to that point, I really find it very important for me to sit down and process, why am I sad? Why am I angry? Why am I frustrated? Why am I upset? What's going on? And what do I need to do in order to move to the next best place? Now, I might go from really angry and pissed off to frustrated. And to me, that's a step forward. Now, for me, I cannot go from really angry and pissed off to, oh, I'm fine now and I'm super happy. Like, it's a process. And that's fine. If you're someone who can just like be pissed off and then literally go from 60 to 0 in a really short span of time, that's great if you're doing it in a way that is helpful for you and that's healthy. But we don't all operate like that. And so I think it's important that if you know what your style is of self-soothing and getting through emotions, it's important not to assume that other people are like that. I know plenty of people who can be really pissed off one minute and then just say, ugh, whatever, it's fine, and then move on and actually be fine. I'm the kind of person where if I'm really pissed off and I say, ugh, whatever, it's fine, if it's something that really impacted me, I'm not fine. I need time to process and I need time to move forward in a way where I go from really pissed off to frustrated, a little bit angry, okay, that was stupid, okay, now I'm over it, let's move on, kind of thing. And I need that time in order to process it. And I know plenty of other people who are like that, and yet I see them so often trying to catch up with everybody else and where they feel like everybody else thinks they should be. And it's really unhealthy and it's really unfair to people like me who get pushed or feel like they're being pushed out of their feelings, because it is really negative and it is that tea kettle that's going to whistle and boil out of control and just explode and end up everywhere. And again, for somebody like me, that's my responsibility. I know that that's how I get. If I get pushed out of my feelings and then somebody comes to me later and tries to push me out of my feelings again, if I choose to allow them to do that, I know I'm boiling up and I'm responsible for that. I'm responsible to not allow that person to get me to that point. And so for anybody who has like toxic family members or toxic parents or siblings or people who you just can't talk to on a certain level, it's important to be responsible for what you know about people. If you need to put them in the outer space, put them in the outer space. That doesn't mean you don't love them. That doesn't mean you don't care about them. It means that you value your feelings and your mental and emotional health, and you're working on yourself in order to know that you just can't have these people in your inner space right now. They need to be in the outer space. And that's okay. There's just certain categories of things that I know I can't talk to certain family members about. And it's really unfortunate for them. It's really unfortunate for them as a family member to know that they're missing out literally on half or more of my life, because I'm not just gonna bring them the best of me when I'm happy, when I'm excited, when I have just great news that I want to share with them. I'm not just gonna bring them the best of me. If you're not going to accept all of me and all of my feelings and everything and how I feel, then guess what? You're probably only gonna get 2% of me, and that's that surface level, hey, what's up, how you doing? Good, okay, bye. And that's not fun. And so if you're like me and you have toxic family members, or maybe you're somebody who you're trying to figure out how to get toxic people in general out of your life, I would encourage you to know yourself first. Know how you react to situations, know the depth of your feelings, know what you need when you're experiencing negative emotions. I know what I need is usually just to be by myself for a little while. I need to think through some of those things, like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I angry? What happened? Is there somebody that I need to try to have a conversation with? And what level of conversation can I have with this person? Does it need to be a shallow conversation? Can I go deep with this person? Or do I need to test things out a little bit more to kind of see where this person is? So it's important to know what kind of emotional person you are, because I'm somebody who I would like to have friends who I could trust with whatever. I would like to have friends who I can be vulnerable with and share things with, and vice versa. But I know that not everybody is like that. And so my circle, that inner space of friends, is just very, very small. I'm talking like 2, maybe 3 people. Maybe. But my outer space and outer circle of acquaintances is pretty large, because there's a lot of people who I just don't go in depth with, because some of them are very toxically positive people, and they implement and they push toxic positivity a lot because they just don't know what to do with somebody like me who has a lot of feelings and things that I like to process and work through to make sure I'm not holding anything or suppressing anything, because that's just not healthy. And on this channel, we like to be healthy. So I know a lot of people struggle with this. I know that it's hard. I know that it's one of those moments where people give you advice and you just eye roll. And the next time somebody tells you,
"Oh, well, why don't you just be happy?"
You're so smart. Shucks, why didn't I think of that? That's a good one. I like to do that. But seriously though, I do think it's important to tell people, like, what I like to say is, hey, look, I'm feeling like this right now. If you don't want to hear it, I respect that, and I'm not going to talk to you about it, but this is where I am, and your advice and how you're talking to me is making me think that you're just sweeping stuff under the rug and not really wanting to know what's going on with me. So I'm ending this conversation. And especially if you have toxic family members, they're not going to like that, but I encourage you to stand your ground, stand up for yourself, and stand up for your health, your mental and your emotional health, because that's just as important as your physical health. So yeah, I'm annoyed. I'm so annoyed with people who think that life is just unicorns and rainbows. I mean, no offense, okay? Not everything has to be unicorn and rainbows. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted to hop on here really quick, chit chat with you guys. Definitely be your own advocate. Definitely take advantage of a counselor or a therapist if you can, and do what you need to do for your mental and emotional health, because not everybody is going to be good for you. Just like not every workout is good for you. Not every diet is good for your body type. Not every vitamin is what you're going to need. Not every person in your life is going to help you mentally and emotionally. Some people are going to be bad for you. Some people are going to impact your health negatively, and you have to be able to recognize that and understand what you need and how you need to process things, including your feelings. And so surround yourself with supportive people. That's just, it's such an important concept, because if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to eat healthier, you're not going to keep junk food in the house. And there are some people, maybe even in your house, maybe at your job, there are some people who are the equivalent of junk food for you. And that's going to be different for every person. Not all junk food is junk food to everybody. There are some people who might be toxic for you who are fine for other people, and it's not a problem. But you have to know what people are going to be good for you and your mental health, and what people are going to be junk people. I hate to say it like that, but it's true. My style of relating to other people is not going to be right for everybody. And it is important to build your healthy circle of people who are going to help support you. So I just wanted to jump on here real quick and make a dedicated video about this, because it's something that I've seen over the past 1.5 to 2 years. I've just seen it creeping up here and there, so I just want to put it out there. I'm sure there's tons of videos about this out here, but I just haven't seen one. So I just wanted to talk about it and put it out there. Let me know what you thought about this video. Definitely leave a comment down below of some steps that you take to take care of your emotional, mental health. Definitely let me know if you even understand the concept that I'm talking about, because I do feel like if you know, you know. If you're similar to me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, let me know what you thought about this video. Can't wait to hear from you guys about this. Drop a comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm still going crazy over there, so be sure to check out the reels and everything that I'm posting over there. I've also started messing with I think they're called guides. So it's basically like if you're looking for information around a certain topic on Instagram, like food or fitness or whatever it is, you can go to that person's profile and look through their guides to see everything that this person has posted around a certain topic. So I've started kind of messing around with that on Instagram, and I believe I did some for like plant-based recipes. I did one for fitness, and I think I did another one too. So if you're interested in checking that out, or if you didn't know that feature existed on Instagram like me, definitely check that out. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye! Do you know some toxic, positive people? How do you feel about those people? It's okay. Hey! I think we're okay, right? Are you gonna bite me again?